What is going on, everyone? This is Sonic Mix, and today I am here to give my review for WWE Monday Night Raw, October the 24th, 2016. And I gotta say, this show was a very up and down type of show. I thought the promos were good, and I thought there was maybe one or two matches that were actually fine to good, but everything else was just kind of not really worth the interest. So the night kicks off with Chris Jericho looking for his list of Jericho because somebody had stole it. To the point to where Owens and Stephanie McMahon came out and Seth Rollins came out holding the list of Jericho behind his back. As always, I thought Jericho was the star of the show in this promo. And I thought Rollins did fine. And, I thought everybody else did fine. I didn't think the promo was out of this world great, but for what it was, I thought it was fine. But once again, I thought Jericho, as always, was the star of the show, which he always is. And I've said this before, and I'll say it again. It sucks he's going to be leaving, going back to his tour with Fozzy. So the first match actually kicked off was Enzo Amore versus Carl Anderson. Right before their match, there was a promo, and how Gallows had said that they have been a mark in the tag team division, that they've put the tag team division on notice. Jeez, I kind of wonder, because I've not really seen any wins above their heads. But they had cut Enzo and Cassidy's mics, and I loved how, even with the mics off, Enzo did his thing, and everyone did the Enzo Amore gimmick catchphrase of "My name is Enzo Amore." You basically know the rest. Now we get into the match itself. Surprisingly, this match was actually longer than the Big Cass and Anderson match from last week. I think this match went about 6 minutes. Thought it was okay. Towards the end, Anderson had him in a roll-up. Cassidy had a distraction. And then Gallows did a distraction. Cass hit Anderson with the big boot. Enzo Amore gets the roll-up. And they win the match. So, yeah. Nice way of calling yourselves, leaving yourself on notice for the tag team division. Yeah, get out of here. But they are supposed to be having a match. Enzo and Cass against Gallows and Anderson. Which it's probably going to be a fine match. Maybe a good match. But I'll save my predictions for Friday night. Up next was the tag team match of, who was it? It was Kofi and Big E versus Cesaro and Sheamus. So we already get Hell in a Cell early. I thought it was a good match. I thought it was a very good tag team match. But I hate the fact that they put these matches, and this was an actual match. They put an actual, I think it was like a 12-minute match on Raw 6 days before Hell in a Cell. Why? Once again, it was a good match. But Cesaro and Sheamus pick up the win, which easily makes me think that New Day is going to win this Sunday. I easily think that. And they're going to break the longest reigning tag team champions, which is Demolition, which that seems like that's what's going to happen. But good match. Just sucks that this was on a Raw. And they could have done a singles match. But instead, they did the actual match that's supposed to have a Hell in a Cell on Raw. Up next, there was supposed to be a match between Dana Brooke and Bayley, but it turned into an arm wrestling segment. The fans were chanting boring, which I don't blame them. I thought this was very uninteresting, very boring, and just totally changed the channel type of segment. I hate to say it. I like Bayley, but she's in the wrong segment in this picture. And I'm going to say this right now. The brand split has, well, I mean, I can't really judge it yet. I know 6 months hasn't passed yet, so maybe like after 6 months I can judge it. But so far, I just think this brand split has hurt it in both of these categories of Raw and SmackDown. Honestly, I think Bayley should be feuding. Like, if everybody was together, I think Bayley should be feuding with Becky Lynch, if not Alexa Bliss. I think I would enjoy Bayley and Alexa Bliss fighting than Bayley versus Dana Brooke fighting, which I'm sure most of you guys would agree with me. But very boring segment. Let's jump into another boring match. Curtis Axel versus Bo Dallas. Nothing interesting out of this match. Nothing interesting at all. I could care less about this match. Bo Dallas wins, which doesn't really benefit, unfortunately, and I don't really see where this goes with Bo Dallas. This is just gonna, he's just gonna be another guy on the shelf. That's all I can say. Up next, oh god, here we go with another one. Golden Truth versus the Shiny Stars. Once again, another match, tag team match that I just didn't care about. And what's funny now is that, Titus O'Neil was on the side with the Shiny Stars, and Mark Henry was on the side of the Golden Truth. So why are they with them? I mean, is it just TV time? I just really don't know. But match was boring. Crowd was not even into this at all. Very, very missed match, definitely. Skipping right along here. We go from a bad segment to 2 bad matches to what I felt was a very good promo. The Sasha Banks Charlotte contract signing promo. I thought, in my opinion, this was a very good promo. And not once, at least unless I missed it, Charlotte didn't mention about when she was a little girl, wanting to be champion. There was none of that. I actually liked the fact that they were serious. I liked the fact how Charlotte was ripping into Mick Foley, and Mick Foley being very passionate and teaching his experience to Sasha and Charlotte when he was in Hell in a Cell, and the devastating pain he had to go through and the outcome that he has to suffer now. Very good stuff here. I thought Sasha did very well with her promo. Charlotte, I thought, did extremely well. And I love the end where Charlotte said, "I'll see you in Boston," and Sasha said, "I'll see you in hell." They both signed the contracts. I thought this was very good. I thought this made up for that arm wrestling segment and then the 2 bad matches. I thought it made it up. I thought it made it up very well. Somebody in the crowd was chanting "boring," which I didn't think this was boring. Once again, I thought this was pretty good. So I don't know what that guy was watching. So that guy in Minneapolis, for the one that was chanting "boring," I don't know what you found that was boring. I thought this was pretty good. Up next was Brian Kendrick versus Rich Swann. Pretty slow match. It did have a few fast-paced moments, but not too many. It was pretty slow. TJ Perkins was on commentary, and surprisingly, at least I thought this was a surprise, Rich Swann picked up the win, which threw me off guard. I think at this time, I'm going to mention the backstage segments before I go on anymore. So recapping the backstage segments. One of the backstage segments was with Rollins and Stephanie, and Rollins had mentioned that he had put the briefcase back where it belonged, which would lead to Jericho looking for, or not the briefcase, the list of Jericho, excuse me. Which would lead to Jericho looking for the list of Jericho. And there was the one segment where he's with the Shiny Stars, Titus O'Neil, and then Jinder Mahal. which, where the hell's he been? Very funny segment in that back there. Jericho is so amazing. Especially the part where Jinder Mahal was doing the whole breathing technique and Jericho's like, stupid, idiot, stupid, idiot. Very funny segment. Enjoy that segment a lot. And then when he finally sees the list of Jericho, Braun Strowman has it. And Braun Strowman said that you forgot to put Sami Zayn on the list. And Jericho said, you know what happens when people touch my list? You just made the list. And he put the list on. Very, very good backstage segments with Jericho. Very good. Very, very good. Then there was the Roman Reigns and then the Rusev builds with Individual talking about how they're going to go Hell in a Cell and win the whole thing and all that sort of thing. I felt Rusev did okay. I didn't thought it was anything good. Roman got booed to death, which was no surprise. Wasn't really feeling it. Like I said, I thought Rusev did okay, but I think they could have done a lot more. But like I said, I think last week's was fine enough, so I think this was just filler. That's the way I see it. Then another important backstage segment was the Brian Kendrick basically telling TJ Perkins that he needs help, that this is his last chance, and that he wanted him to lose the title purposely. So, a little bit of an interesting segment, which is starting to make me think, is Brian Kendrick going to win? Which wouldn't make too much sense, because I think TJ Perkins should at least hold the title for at least till Mania, then lose it. But the way that they're making this be is as if maybe Perkins is going to lose at Hell in a Cell, which I don't think he shouldn't. I think he should win, but it'd be an interesting outcome nonetheless. So I covered the backstage segments, only the important ones. So going back, excuse me, we were supposed to have a match with Sami Zayn versus Braun Strowman, but Braun Strowman demanded better competition. So Zayn slapped Strowman. They ran around the ring. Strowman shoved Zayn out of the ring. He got out. He left the ring. Zayn got back in the ring wanting to fight. So I think it's going to be Strowman against Zayn at Hell in a Cell, which I can see that happening. Up next was the Brock Lesnar Heyman segment. I thought this was okay. I thought this could have been a bit better. I think the crowd, though, was probably the most interesting. Figuring it was in Minneapolis, Minnesota. I loved how Heyman acknowledged the Goldberg chants. And very interesting enough, there was actually a Goldberg sucks chant. But what was awkward was the end. There wasn't really like a solid conclusion ending. It was just this silence from Heyman, and you listen to the fans chanting, Goldberg sucks, Goldberg sucks. And the music plays, and Heyman drops the mic. So, once again, I thought it was okay, could have been better, and a very awkward ending. At least I thought it was awkward. And then finally, the main event, Owens, Jericho, and Seth Rollins, the triple threat main event. Very boring match. Crowd was actually not into it at all. I did like the finish of the match, though, where Zayn got a double pin on Jericho and Owens, and I love the little brawl afterwards with Rollins and Owens, and I love the fact that they, I don't know, I want to say brought back, but they did the angle with Zayn doing, why did I say Zayn again? With Owens doing the power bomb on the edge of the apron to Rollins' back. I love that spot there. And it's been it feels like it's been a long time. I know it's been quite a long while since Owens has done that. I actually thought at first it was banned, but seeing that he did it, I'm guessing it's not banned. I'm guessing it's okay. Maybe for a storyline purpose, I can understand. But really, there wasn't a... Actually, another disappointment about the match was that there was no, like, a tease tension of Jericho versus Owens, which they have been doing, but they didn't do it in this match, which I was a little shocked about. So maybe after Hell in a Cell, there'll be a little bit of a tension between the two, but we'll see what happens. Overall, I thought this was a hit and a miss Raw. Once again, I thought the promos were good, and there was a couple matches that were fine, but everything else was just take it or leave it sort of thing. Overall, I give this show a 6 and a quarter, maybe a 6.5 being generous. And with that being said, this is my review for WWE Monday Night Raw, October the 24th, 2016. Just as a heads up here, I will not be doing a SmackDown or NXT review. A good buddy of mine is coming into town, so I'm going to be hanging out with him for the 2 days that he'll be here. And until then, guys, you guys have yourselves a good week. I'll try to post some videos here and there, maybe of my Pokemon battles or whatever I like to post. But until then, you guys have a good one, and I will talk to you guys later.